Hey everybody, today we're going to be showing you how to install some heavy duty tie rods on your Polaris RZR 1000. The first thing we're going to do is jump right in, get the front wheels and tires removed from the machine. Next we're going to remove the nut securing the tie rod to the knuckle. Once it's removed, remove the tie rod from the knuckle. If it gets stuck, what you want to do, you want to take a hammer and hit only right here. Then after a few good hits, it should come right loose and just pull it right out. Then we're going to remove the zip ties from the boot on the rack side as well as the tie rod side. If you have a reusable one, you'll just go in here with the screwdriver, separate it just like this and pull it off. Set that aside, it might come in handy. And then on the inner, you'll have a zip tie. So what you'll do, you'll just pull your boot as far as you can down and turn the wheel or grab a hold of the rack and pull on it. Get it extended all the way out and reach up in here, find your zip tie, go ahead and cut it, then remove your boot. Now you'll just pull your boot down as far as you can get it and get it over top of that inner ball and socket. Still have a little piece of zip tie there. Then we're going to grab some channel locks, put them on the inner ball and socket here and loosen it. This can be pretty tough, especially if it's never been taken off before, and then just turn it loose. Then just grab your tie rod out here on the outside and just spin it completely off of the rack. Grab the provided inner ball and socket, take some thread locker. We're using blue today. Put a good healthy coat on it. That way it doesn't ever want to back off on you. Go ahead and thread it right into rack. Let's go ahead and get it threaded in there as far as you can by hand. Once you have it hand tight, grab a 33mm wrench or an adjustable wrench, and you'll see that it has a hex pattern on the back side here. Just get that lined up and get it as tight as you possibly can. Once you've got it tightened up, go ahead and take your jam nut and thread it all the way up the threads. Next we're going to be installing the tie rod. Then we're going to take our tie rod and our boot, working on the passenger side, so it's going to be the smaller opening of the two boots. Take a little bit of lubricant, just spray down in this boot. Just to make it that much easier to slide on. You just want to make sure that this side is facing towards the outside of the machine. So just slide it on there just like this. Wiggle it around, it should slide right up the shaft. Then we're just going to take our tie rod, pull our inner ball and socket down, start threading it onto the inner ball and socket. We'll take our boot, slide it up, slide it over top, the inner ball and socket, push it up the tie rod. And you want to get the boot up to the point where you can just see this little notch here, so you can stick a 15mm wrench whenever you go to tighten down your jam nut. Make sure the boot is all the way fully seated on the rack. Ours is, so we're going to take the provided zip ties and put a zip tie on the innermost portion of the boot, closest to the rack, and get it as tight as you possibly can on this inner side. Then on the outer, you're going to want to get it on here and you're going to want to tighten it. But you're not going to want to tighten it so tight that it can't move anymore, because you want to be able to pull this back down over top of this notch after you've made your adjustments and locked that nut down. So we're just going to leave it right here and tighten it a little bit, but not so tight that it won't move. So we'll just cut off the excess. We'll leave just a tab on there, that way we can tighten it down a little bit more. And we're going to go in here, make sure the zip tie is as tight as it'll go, and then just cut off the excess of the zip tie. So at this point, you're going to want to go inside your machine, turn your wheel completely straight, make sure the rack is centered. Then once the wheel's straight, get your rotor as center as you possibly can, as straight as you can. And if you're working on a 14 model, you're going to want to use the bolts provided in the kit. 15 and up, you're going to use the provided stud. This stud is going to install with the tapered end facing down. We're going to take the provided castle nut, go ahead and get it started on the bottom. Go ahead and get that hand tight. Grab our provided heavy duty Heim joint style tie rod in, thread it into the tie rod, It's gonna be left-handed thread, so you just thread it in there. And the idea is to have about the same distance from here to here on the outer tie rod to the inner ball and socket. So we're just gonna thread ours in until we're pretty close, and then we can just grab our tie rod bar and make our adjustments from there. So we got it adjusted to where it fits on the stud there. We're gonna grab our misalignment bushing. Just gonna slide down right over top the stud and sit down in the heim joint. Then we're gonna grab our other castle nut. Get it started on there, and then we're gonna tighten the top castle nut as well as the bottom. We're just gonna wanna tighten both of the castle nuts up until the cotter keyway is lined up. That one's lined up, so we're gonna go ahead and grab our cotter pin. I'm gonna slide it through. We're just gonna bend it away from each other. We'll go ahead and line this top one up. We'll get it good and tight. Take our cotter pin, slide it through, and then again, just bend them away from each other. Then we're gonna repeat all these steps for the driver's side. We've got the wheels and tires reinstalled on the machine and got it sat back down on the ground. So now we're gonna roll the machine out to settle the suspension. We have Corey here helping us today. So we're just gonna roll the machine back and forth just a few times here. Now that we've rolled the machine out, we're gonna go inside and make sure that our steering wheel is straight. Then we're gonna take a measurement from the front of each tire, from center line to center line. Looks like we're at 56.25 in the front. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the back side of the tire. Looks like we're at 56.25 on the back side of the tire as well. So one of the awesome things about SuperATV's heavy duty tie rods is that they're double adjustable. So if you need to adjust your toe in or out, all you'd have to do is make sure your jam nuts are loose and spin the tie rod. And there you have it. That's how super easy it is to install SuperATV's heavy duty tie rods on this Polaris RZR 1000. For more information on these tie rods or any of SuperATV's great products, feel free to give us a call at 855-743-3427 or check us out online at superatv.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.